Welcome back. We are testing OBS Studio, running raw. Task Manager loaded up. Don't have a game loaded up, but I'm trying to get a visual of the graph. I changed the adjustments and settings to where let me just put them up on screen. Too much, but what it looks like. Output running. I'm trying it with the buffer size because I want to see how that affects it. I've kept the CPU on ultra fast. I turned the profile to none, tune to none, and I'm using a custom buffer size, which is twice the size of the bit rate, which is set at 1600 constant bit rate. Buffer size is twice so that if it spikes, you have a buffer memory to overcome that. So if anything, it should minimize the slowdown of the stream, I would think. No rescaling, since it's a pretty much 1-to-1 ratio. Should reduce the memory footprint. And you'll see we are only at 48%, around 50%. We were running 60% when we turned off Star Trek Online before, so let's go ahead and run Star Trek Online again, see what happens. Okay, the graph spiked up to almost 100% there. 90. Game isn't running yet, but Arc is loading up, so things spiked up. I don't know what the OBS Studio didn't report any frame drops, so I don't think it's stalled and it's still in the green. So let it settle down for a minute. Back down to about 50%. Run and start the program. Oh, I left the Xbox thing running because my every attempt to turn it off, it turns back on. We're running the game in Windows, so it should be a smaller footprint than what before. Let's go ahead and bring the graph up. We can see the output. What we're measuring here is the line all the way over on the right is what we're concerned with. That's the actual time. This is after 60 seconds gone by the graph. So the right here is the spike where the program came on, then it calmed down, and now it's coming in around here. OBS Studio was operating before the program came on, 50%, which is about here. So now it's spiked up to 100. The software is running. OBS Studio is not slowed down yet. At least it's showing green lights. So this is where I have OBS Studio and Star Trek both on normal. Priority for the CPU, normal. So you see the program loaded and it dropped all the way back down to about 60% there, I would think, right? Yeah, 60%. Only 10% more activity than before the game was running. Let's go ahead and log into the game. Bring up the graph. So there's the spike. Logged in. Then it came back and calmed down at about 60%. Hit any key. Close that out. So now let's go back, look at our graph. Here it came down, it spiked up again when we hit the thing, and then it calmed back down to here. About 65, almost 70%. So that gives us 40% gap here. Play the game. Right? So let's go and load the game back up. We'll plot a course. Back to Earth. Hit warp drive. Go back and watch Task Manager, see what happens. Then there's where it spiked, where we ran the game. Now it's game's running in the background, so only 65% of the system is being utilized. OBS Studio isn't slowing down. And I think the buffer is having the desired effect that I had hoped. It should act as an expansion tank so that when the program's running, you're trying to maintain a video bit rate to Twitch, which is 1600. The buffer is twice the size of that, so if it spikes to either side of that, it should be able to handle twice the demand so that it maintains that bit rate constant. So that the average bit rate is constant. So I would think it would minimize any delay in Twitch. Twitch reports out, OBS reports out, so you see less lag. The result, and plus with a 20-second delay, it allows it time to balance out before it ships it out there. Now OBS looks good. Everything looks great. And what we're going to do is going to bring up the game, add more processor to it. Everything running constant. Graphic. We should be able to bring this up here. Right? So let's fly a course back somewhere. So here. Go to New Romulus. Here. Did I apply everything correctly? Yeah, everything's applied. So let's go back and look at our graph. Okay, we're holding, we gotta, when the program was running, so there was a about 10%, 20%, 20, 40, 60. Or 60, 80, 90. Spikes up here to 90. Yeah, that's the 90%. 100. These are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So when it's in the foreground, it spikes to here. When it's in the background, it spikes to here. So we're not seeing any delay in the CPU. So we have a, without the program running, it's a 60, we have a 40% gap that the CPU can function for the game, which should be fine, right? So when we run World of Warcraft, it should... World of Warcraft without OBS Studio running was only using 12% of the processor. So let's go ahead and we'll close out this once it gets to its destination, which it has. Let's take a look at the graph real quick. Spiked up to 90. Now it's dropped back down. So, okay. Go ahead and close Arc. Close the window, see what that does. Okay, so we lost almost 85%. Okay. That's where that spike was. Click back into Task Manager here. Let's settle down to gotta be Arc communicating with the program every so many seconds. But that's gotta be. So we'll close out the game. Exit. So let that finish its processing. Should see a drop down to like 50%. Yeah, a little less than. And that's Arc running back there in the background, so gotta turn Arc off. Got Arc off, and we're back down to about 49-45%. Under 50%. Right. That should be right. Now, so let's go back and look at this. So, Task Manager is using anywhere about, I would say under 15%. 0 to 15% is what Task Manager is bumping this up. One of these gaps is Task Manager, so we're really running somewhere around 40%. OBS is saying we're only using 20% of the processor right now. Streaming. Streaming. It's only using 20%. So the operating system only needs this much to operate, and it'll be less than 10% once we shut Task Manager down. Okay? So, and we're not running the Elgato card. We shut that off. So, go ahead and try to load up BattleNet. See what happens. The big spike. BattleNet. Running. Now I'm gonna run BattleNet on the other screens because I don't want my private information. Get out. BattleNet. That over here. Now I don't see OBS Studio lagging. because it has more than enough resources to run. So, and it's streaming too, so it's Blizzard that needs to calm down. So now everything's settling down. Now program's loaded up, and so it's settled back down to about 68%, right? Spiking up to about where it is 60 to 80%, right? 70 to 80%. Big spike right there. So it's doing something, manning the processor. Let's go ahead and load the game. Now it should spike, and I should see OBS Studio slow down, and Twitch might slow down. So let's see if that happens. Okay. Pumped up to 90% there. Running. Go ahead and look at the graph. Foreground. Here we go. It's just under 100%. It's good. Means it's not really running hot. I mean, it is running hot, but not that hot. Go ahead and shut BattleNet down. There, and it drops all the way down to 60%. Right. There we go. And, OBS Studio hasn't stopped. It's still got green lights. Still reporting only 20% of the processor being used for OBS Studio, which is at 30 frames per second. We've been live for 18 minutes with a 20-second delay and 1600 kilobits per second video bitrate upload. Download is way beyond that. So our download speed it's pretty good. If you look down there, it's we're fine on the download, and only 2.0 on the upload, which it's like 5.0. A little more than 5.0 upload, right? And it's a 50 megabit stream, so got plenty of download, plenty of upload. So, okay, now click into there, see what happens real quickly. I'm gonna hit the button, I'm gonna hit enter world, and I'm click back out to our graph. It bumps up to 99%. Let that load. OBS Studio has not stalled yet. It's good. There's the load screen. So, okay, the game's loaded. And drop down to 68%, just under 70%. What we're doing. So, let's do this. OBS Studio has not stalled. Let me do this. Stand up, run around. Nothing has stalled. Run over here. What happens? Died. Oh, I got overload error. Been good. There's the overload. Okay, so we need to go down and tell computer to give OBS Studio the priority. Right? which it is. Priority. Give it the highest priority. Now the game will lag. That's okay. As long as the stream's not lagging, that's all we care. OBS is fine. The graph is showing 77%. So we gotta put 20, almost 23 to 25. There's a spike there. Go ahead and shut down Task Manager. Make up that 10%. There we go. Window. Go ahead and load up our system. We're going to turn our textures down to low. We're going to lower our viewing distance. Once it comes back, oh, according to this, OBS Studio has not stalled. Okay, so set that to 1. Apply. Okay, so go ahead and set this to 4. Apply. There we go. I'm getting a stall, but I think that's because I hit apply. But let's give it a second or two to calm down. Okay. I think it's good. It's calm down. So here, look at this. And close this. Here we go. Okay, it's still reporting OBS Studio is overloaded. So why is it overloaded? Hmm. Let's try this. I'm gonna suspend the stream. I'm gonna make a profile specific for World of Warcraft, and I'll come right back. Don't get killed. Run. Run away. Run away. He died. Oh,